Right. So, Molly, this sounds really great, but I just don't have the budget for this.
Okay, Josh, totally understand, not a problem at all. When I talk to people, I hear that a lot. If only we had the marketing team's budget, right?
Right, right. If only I had the marketing team's budget.
So typically kind of what I've done in past situations is if we get maybe a bigger group together, show the value to maybe some of the other key players, we can talk about budget at a later time.
That sounds awesome. I'm definitely
Okay.
up for that.
Okay, great. Let's set that up then.
And stop. Okay, so this is how most people would respond to that objection. So thank you, Molly, for doing that. And thank you for being so transparent. So we talked a little about that. And what I said to Molly after we role played that, do you remember what my insight or my feedback was on that?
I think if I remember correctly, you said, but like you don't even know what's going on behind the scenes.
You are.
You don't even know if you're interested.
This is why you did so well in school, because you have such a good memory. We have to understand that when we get an objection,
have a good memory.
Yes, when we get an objection, it's either one of two things. Either it's the truth, they literally have no money for this, or it's not the truth. Now, why would prospects not tell the truth? It's not that they're trying to lie intentionally. It's that salespeople have this reputation of wanting to move people faster than they want to move. So a natural reaction of people is to put up their guard and to say anything just to get you off the phone. And where we get into trouble is where we feel that somebody is telling us it's really the budget when it's really not. And so what we need is a technique to have a way to get to the truth. So just because a prospect says it's not a budget, we don't want to just respond to that and be the child. Hey, we don't have a budget. No problem. Let's get a group of people together and we'll talk about it. What we want to do is have an adult to adult conversation so that we can understand, is that really the issue or is there some other issue? Because if we don't get that, we're chasing, we're sometimes inflating our pipelines, we're sometimes thinking deals are moving forward, and our most precious thing that we have is our time. So what I did is I taught Molly a new technique that we're going to role play that actually uses a couple of different questions to be able to understand if that's the real truth. So Molly, I'm going to be Molly now.
Okay.
And you're going to be the prospect, and we're going to walk through this new framework so you can see how we're able to use it to just understand the truth. And again, we don't want to overcome an objection. So what Molly did classically is she tried to overcome it. Let's get everyone together and I can show you the value. When we don't even know if that's really the truth. That might be a way we want to go, but we don't know if that's the truth yet. So we first want to understand the truth, not overcome. So Molly's going to start now the role play again, and she's going to say, I don't have a budget, and I'll walk you through this framework.
Okay. Sorry, Josh, I don't have the budget for that tool.
Well, do you have a Groupon?
I can go check online.
Oh, it's no problem. Most people don't have a budget when I call because I'm not calling during the budgeting time of the year. But budget aside, is this a tool that you even like, or you're kind of on the fence about it?
Yeah, I like it. I think it would be helpful.
I don't feel the love. Like it, just okay.
I like it. I really do. There's a lot of other competing priorities going on right now.
I totally get it. What do you like about it?
I like that it is going to help my employees do X, Y, and Z, and it might save me a little bit of money.
Right. And you also mentioned some other competing priorities. Where does this sit on the list? Is it like a 1, a 2, a 3, a 9, a 10?
So we are focusing on 4 initiatives for Q1, and I would say those all take precedent. And maybe this would be something that we can talk about maybe in Q2.
That sounds perfectly reasonable. I think you should fire me right now, and I'll send you a cool book and some things that we produce to help you be smarter in your domain area, and we'll touch base then. Is that a work for you?
Sounds perfect.
And end of scene. So what happened there? So go ahead, Molly.
I was going to say, you not brushed aside, but you addressed my objection, but essentially asked me, okay, what else is there besides this budget? Is it really the budget or is it something else? And what you found was that it's actually not really the budget right now. It's that I have some competing priorities.
Right.
This is a real life example.
That's exactly right. And we call this, if you saw my recent post, the struggle meter. We have a blue, a yellow, an orange, and a red. And if this is not a priority and they're in the blue zone and there's no struggle, there's nothing to chase and there's nothing to do. And where we get into the trouble is where we try to close and we try to overcome when someone's in the blue zone. Let's find out that they're in the blue zone, if that in fact is the truth, which it sounds like it is, because the truth, there's always oomph behind it. I say there's a reason. We've got this, we've got that, we've got this. Whenever someone gives you a reason, I call it the oomph. That's when you know it's the truth. And when we treat a truth like an objection, that's where we get into a lot of trouble and upset people. So if someone said this is down at a 4 or a 5, and we now try to get them to a 1, that's where conversations get awkward. So once we know the truth, we can nurture them, and perhaps this will be a higher priority at another time. So that's the idea with the golden lasso question. So if someone said to you, Molly, I need to speak to my boss about this, how would you handle that?
I would say, no problem at all. Let's say you talk to your boss and everything looks good. Is this something that you guys would want to move forward with? That's
really well done.
Thank you.
Because what that's going to do is that's going to flush out the objection. I would do it now let me do it. So you say, let me talk to my boss.
Hey, Josh, let me talk to my boss.
Let me talk to my boss. Jenna, that's my wife. Hold on. Jenna. No, I'm just kidding. Hey, let's say the decision was up to you,
You
Molly.
really wanted to say that.
Yeah, sure. I say it. So let's say, Molly, the decision was up to you. What would you want to do?
I would want to move forward.
You would want to move forward. But when you take this to your boss, I'm sorry, is it he or she?
It's a she.
I'm assuming when you take this to your boss, she's going to throw you right out of her office. She's not going to want this, is she?
No, I think she'd be open to learning more.
What do you think the problem is that she's going to have with it? What do you think she might not say?
I think she'll bring up the cost.
How are you going to address that?
I'm going to talk about the cost savings that we talked about, and, fill her in on all of that and show her how it could actually help us save money in the long run.
Yeah, awesome. When are you thinking about chatting with her? Is it like a week or 2 weeks away, or?
We have a standing meeting every Thursday morning, so I'll chat with her on
Does
Thursday.
Does this sit pretty high on her priority list, or is this can definitely wait like a quarter or two? I'm assuming there's no rush, right?
I'm not sure exactly where it is on her priority list, so I'll have to ask.
Okay, that makes sense. Would it make sense for us to then circle back up after you've had an opportunity to chat with her? Either way, if it's not a fit, you can fire me on the spot. Does that work for you? That sound fair?
Yeah.
So what did we do there? We got to, hey, I really do need to talk to my boss. We got to Molly having buy-in, but Molly's not the decision maker. We don't really know where they are on the struggle scale because we don't know if it's a priority. But what we did get is a next commit and permission for Molly to fire us on the next call if it's not a fit. So we did it in a very, selling with integrity. So awesome job, Molly Mal.
Thanks, Josh.